Okay, hi. I'm Jeff Grime, and I'm going to be your professor in the upcoming 605 Financial Decision Making course online. Um, Welcome to the course. I'm really happy that we're going to be able to spend these next 8 weeks together. This is a fabulous course, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. But at the outset, I want to talk about four main things. One is the importance of this course. Um, I think as you learned, I think in some of your introductory courses, 500 and 521, the main source of funding for nonprofits is not individual donors, not foundations, not corporations, but rather fee for services. So this means that as a leader of your nonprofit or as a fundraiser, you need to understand how your organization is going to drive money into it so that you have the funding to do the good things that you want to do, right? Because as Brinkerhoff said, no money, no mission. So appreciate the first theme is that your business, your nonprofit really is a business, and it needs to figure out how it's going to generate money, drive money into its organization in order to have the resources needed to pursue your mission. Okay? The second point then, and it's related, is this notion of liquidity. And liquidity is essentially how much cash do you have in your organization. And, the business world, they're always saying that cash is king, and that you don't really have a financial problem until you don't have the cash to buy your way out of whatever predicament you find yourself in. So as a nonprofit, you want to make sure that you have a rainy day fund, cash on hand, so that when, and not if, but when the financial crisis hits, you'll have the money to keep your organization afloat until better financial times come. Okay? Second point is liquidity. That's related then to a third point, and that is that nonprofit doesn't mean no profit from your operations, right? In fact, you want to run profits, you want to run surpluses, because the only way that you can build up that rainy day fund is if you have profits from your operations that you can then set aside and, yes, build up your liquidity, and to that rainy day fund. And related to this also, as it relates to profits, is this notion that if you don't have unrestricted funds that are just kind of sitting aside that you can use for whatever you wish, then you really don't have operational independence as an organization. Think about it for a moment. If you see a new opportunity, or you see a new program design that you'd like to try out, well, if you don't have any money in the bank to fund that initiative, you're stuck. You have to go to a funder first and quote get their approval and more money in order to try this initiative out. And in a sense, then you're always beholden to the funder, who either will say yes or no to your proposal, rather than having the independent financial resources to try something out yourself as the ED, or as a group of, as part of a team of your of the leadership in your nonprofit. And I sometimes equate not having this little cash reserve on the side to having to operate like a teenager who wants to go out for the night, but first has to ask the parent for the keys to the car and for gas money. And as an executive director, the professional that you are, you don't want to be in that position. Okay? So those are kind of three major themes that I hope you take away from this little video at the outset. One is that the class is really important because nonprofits are businesses, and you need to appreciate how they operate and how they figure out how to drive money into them. Secondly, this notion of liquidity and the importance of having cash, both to fund the financial crisis when it comes, and opportunities when they appear. And that's related to three, profits are not a bad thing, and they're certainly not prohibited. Okay? Then the last and fourth thing I just want to mention here is that some students come to this course with intrepidation. They haven't really seen financial statements before. They don't really understand financial concepts. Because of that, the course is designed to begin at a very elementary level. If you can do the 4 operations of adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, you can do the content of this course. Because we do start at a very simple elementary level and move forward. But I do want to stress then that we move forward very quickly. And by the end of the course, your final is a very challenging case study where you have to analyze the financials and figure out a lot of stuff in order to make a coherent recommendation to the executive director of the nonprofit on what they should be doing financially and operationally. Okay, so that's kind of like a reassurance if you're on the side that you've never done financials before and aren't familiar with them. And it's also, I guess, also a warning to those who have done financials before. You may think that the course is a little elementary, and I've had some students think it's below them, so they've kind of blown off the first week or two, and then by the 3rd or 4th week they are lost because all of a sudden the course has passed them by. So that's all to say.